Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Teresa and you are at Perfectly Imperfect Designs. Today I'm making a Mother's Day wreath for my mother. So I thought I would go ahead and flip the camera on and have you guys join me. So today I'm using a Dollar Tree wreath frame. I have 18 pipe cleaners on this. I have 10 around the outside and 10 on the inside. The sign that I'm going to be using today, actually I'm going to be using a round sign. It says, "A mother's love is like no other." I hope that camera is picking that up. This is not a sign and ribbon kit. However, I do have the wreath signs in my Etsy shop, which will be linked below. I also have sign and ribbon kits there as well. Today I'm going to be doing a ruffle method with added curls. My mesh is this green border stripe mesh. It's kept to 20 inches. I'm going to be making my ruffles with this. I've already prepared my curls. I'm going to be adding the curls into every tie. So we're going to get started. Take my mesh, put it the right side up this time. And sometimes it helps to put a rock on the end when you're trying to make a ruffle. I tuck that under, scrunch it up the middle, and I have a ruffle that looks somewhat like a bow tie. I like to start on the outside of my wreath frame. And if you're joining me, please let me know where you're from, your name, where you're watching from. That would be helpful. I'm going to go ahead and add my curls in as I put the ruffles in before I put the ribbon in. My ribbons today, I'm going to be using a 2.5 inch, this kind of like peach colored. It's very pretty. I love the roses on it. I'm also going to be using the peach rose ribbon with the yellow and the green as well. I'll just be alternating them as I go. Okay, so I'll grab my ruffle, stick it in there. To the next one. You want to kind of tuck under your edges so that the fray does not show. You absolutely cannot do anything about the fray. All mesh frays. Put the next ruffle down in there. And add the curl. I like to go through when I get done adding all of my ruffles and curls and cut the frays off that I can still see. To the next one. And if you guys are interested in this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. I have a lot of videos. Goes in here. And if you do subscribe, hit the bell and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. This is going to turn out really pretty. I have some flowers to add as well when we get to that point. You want to stand your ruffles up next to each other. Now I get my Deco Mesh from a wholesaler. There's plenty of places that you can get it. Craft stores, Hobby Lobby, Michael's, any place like that will carry it. go straight up the middle of your mesh, scrunching it together and laying it down in here. I'm going to do a few more with you guys on the outside, and then I will speed things up a little bit and complete the outside, and we'll move to the inside of the wreath. So the curls are just cut to 10 inches. You roll them up. I've got them put together with a pipe cleaner. Put that in there. It just adds some more color. I think I'm going to do 2 more, and then I will complete the outside. Speed the video up a bit, and when I complete the outside, I will stop and we'll move on to the inside. So here's one. And the roll. I do have quite a few videos on my channel right now. So if you want to check that out, that would be wonderful. And I usually do these with sign and ribbon kits. Not today. Like I said, I have the sign in my shop, but I do not have the ribbon kit. I have lots of other sign and ribbon combos. Okay, I'm going to do this one, and I'm going to speed things up around the outside of the wreath. You get them all in there. You want to stand your ruffles up against each other. Okay, you guys, I'm going to complete the outside perimeter of the wreath, and I will stop before I move to the inside. All my pipe cleaners figured out, so they're not hiding from me. Okay, I will be right back. Okay, you guys, I've completed the outside of the wreath base, the outside ring. I have 8 on the inside that I'm going to do the same thing to. My pipe cleaners on this wreath frame are anywhere from 4 to 4.5 inches apart. And now I'm going to move on to the inside, so I want to make sure my pipe cleaners are pulled out so I don't skip any. I hope you all can join me for my next video as well. I'm going to be making a patriotic wreath. I'm going to make one for Memorial Day, and I'm going to make one for the 4th of July. Again, up the middle. I don't need a rock every time I make a ruffle. The closer to the roll it gets, the curlier the pieces. So sometimes it's just easier to place a rock there so it's not continuously curling while you're trying to put the mesh in. So I put the ruffle down in there. Again, add a curl. Put my camera down a bit. You can see what I'm doing. Okay, I did the same thing to the inside pieces that I did to the outside. I'm going to do a couple more, and then I will complete the inside. I thought, well, you know, I'm making this wreath for my mother for Mother's Day, so why not flip on the camera and have you guys join me? Again, I have sign and ribbon kits in my Etsy shop. This particular wreath that I'm making is not a kit. However, I do have the sign. You want to make sure you stand your ruffles up next to each other so they're pretty and you can see it all. Add the rolls. I'm going to straighten all these out. Okay, I'm going to complete the inside perimeter of the wreath form, and when I get back, we'll start adding the ribbons. So let me complete the inside, and I will be right back. Okay, you guys, I'm on the very last ruffle. The inside. I have one pipe cleaner left. I'm going to add my ruffle. And the curl. Okay, now that I have the base completed, I'm just going to go through and make sure everything is standing up and nothing is smashed down by the mesh that's next to it. Making sure my pipe cleaners are visible so that I will have no problem adding my ribbons. Turned out to be really full and pretty. I think my mother will love it. Okay, now we're going to move on to making a bow. So I'm going to set the wreath aside and grab my ribbon and my bow maker. Okay, you guys, I've gathered some ribbons that I'm going to be making the bow with. I'm going to be adding some pink into the wreath, just because the flowers that I'm adding are yellow and peach. I've lost my little spool that goes here to put my ribbon on. So what I usually do is just drop it to the floor. Let's see, for this wreath, I think I'm going to do about a 10-inch tail. Always cut some off, but you can't add. Twist it, put it down in here. Try to get that smashed down the best you can. A loop, I'm going to make my loop about 6 inches. Get in here, you want to twist it so the underneath is up, and when you bring it around, the good side is on the top, or the pretty side. This ribbon probably appears the same on both sides to you, but it is not. One side is the wrong side. And there we go. We put 2 loops of this ribbon on both sides. Inches right here. Okay, I like to adjust my loops how I want them to look when I put how I want my bow to look. And of course I want to add some yellow because It is a Mother's Day wreath, so I want it to be cheery. And I also have yellow flowers that I'm going to be adding. No, I think I'm going to go in with this because this matches the ribbons that I'm going to be using. So let me see how much of this I have. Of course, I want to make these loops a bit shorter so they will show from the ribbon that I'm going to be placing on top of it. These loops I'm going to do about around 5.5. Twist it. See what I mean? This is the pretty side. When I twist it, the wrong side comes up, but when you bring it around, the pretty side is on top. Okay, I'm just going to do one loop on both sides with this ribbon. And now I'm going to move on to the yellow. Again, I'm going to do these at about, well, that one's closer to 6. Pull that up a little bit. These loops will just be like peeking out. Put it down in there. Loop. I do want to make these a bit shorter. I ended up making the last loops at about 5.5 after all, so I'm going to make these at about 5. I have measurements on my Easy Bow, but I also have them on my self-healing mat. That's what I cut my mesh on, because if I tried to cut my mesh with a rotary cutter without the self-healing mat, it would cut the table. So I'm not going to be doing that. Put 2 loops on both sides of the yellow. Twist. There we go. I got my 2 loops of yellow. Bring it down. And cut it off. Again, I'm going to adjust my bow, my bow loops. Okay, I want to throw some pink into this and maybe some green. The green's going to match the floral, the little pink and yellow roses on the wreath, or on my bow ribbon. So, I don't think I'm going to want this right on top, but I want it to be visible. This is just going to like stand out really good. And when I get to the end and I add the flowers, you'll see why this was added. Twist. Okay, for my loops, these again are going to be a bit smaller. So I have these at around 4. And my loops so I can see where I'm measuring to. Over, so that will work. I'm going to do 2 loops on both sides with this one. And make these the same on both sides. And bring that down. That off. Adjust again. This just helps me know exactly how many loops I'm going to want on my bow. You'll see that pink really stands out. I'm going to put some green in it. I do have green in the ribbon tails. I've used all these colors in the ribbon tails. We just haven't added those yet. So here's my green. Down. I'm going to do this one next. And I'm going to make these just a bit smaller than I did the pink. So I twist. Again, this is one of the ribbons that appears to be the same on both sides, but it really isn't. If you look closely, you see there's a wrong side and a right side. Now, since I have so many loops down, I'm just going to hold my loops up, make sure they are the same size. Twist. Make this the same size as the green loop. Twist. Come back up, around, and there we have the pretty true green ribbon. And I'll cut this off. Okay. Get my ribbon all together. Okay, so now for the very end ribbon, or I should say now for the top ribbon. Going in with this, which, as you know, is going to be a big part of our wreath, this color ribbon. I'm going to try to make this just a bit shorter than the green so it shows. I really wish I wouldn't have lost my spool, but I did, so I'm working with what I have. I'm going to have to ask my husband if he'll put another little dowel rod or something in there. And I'm going to see how many loops I can get out of this one. This is our top ribbon. This will be the last ribbon that I'm adding to the bow. Twist. And push that down in there. Line it up with the existing loop that I already have. Each color, the loops are the same size for each color. There we go. Get my tails down. See if I want to add another one. And I do think I will. So I've got my ribbon in there. Twist. Go around. And I think I'm going to stop at that. Cut this. Okay, I'm going to grab a zip tie. Well, I have one zip tie right here, but I don't know if it's long enough. I may have to grab my bigger zip ties. I'm not sure. Let's see if we can get this one around all the ribbons. Down in there. Okay. I'm going to grab a pipe cleaner real quick, so hold on just a second, you guys. Okay, I have to have something to tie the bow onto the wreath with. Scoot this over. I'm going to lift the stack out. The stack is considered all the ribbons that I have on top of each other. Move the pipe cleaner around to the back, trying not to move anything. Slip the pipe cleaner in. Okay, I have that on there. Now what I'm going to do is set my bow down before it's all the way tightened. And I'm going to move my loops to exactly where I want them. Making sure my tails are all facing down with this type of bow. Okay, I'm just moving my loops around. Trying to match both sides up. There. Alright, now I'm going to tighten the bow, the pipe cleaner, as tight as I can. I have to get my needle nose pliers out for this. My hand strength is not the best. And cut this off. Okay, now we have the pipe cleaner on there. I'm going to fluff it up a bit. I have this Band-Aid on my finger, guys. I don't know if you've noticed it or not, but it's actually just a paper cut. But it really was bothering me. Okay. I will definitely be fluffing this out much more when I get it on the wreath. What I usually do, I either start from the front or the back. It really doesn't matter. Pull your loops apart. I'm glad I added the green and the fuchsia pink, hot pink, whatever you want to call it. Okay, like I said, this will be fluffed out much more when I get it on the wreath. Okay, isn't that pretty? I love it. I don't do my tails until I get it on the wreath. So I really hope you guys will join me for my patriotic cross that I'm going to be making for the 2022 year. And I'm also going to turn on my glue gun because we're going to be adding some floral to this. Okay, I'm going to put the bow aside now and get the wreath. Okay, now I'm going to start adding the ribbon tails. So these two are the same pattern. One's a 1.5 and one is a 2.5 inch ribbon. Fold these in half, crease it really good. I like to put mine on the table as I'm working with it for the wreath. Scrunch it up the middle and add the ribbon tails. Get a couple on here and I'll turn around and show you what it looks like. Now I'm going to be using the yellow and the the floral pattern together. I just wanted this wreath to be somewhat colorful and cheery. So this is what I've come up with. I'll put this one down in here and I'll turn it around and show you what we have going on. Fan them out. I do not cut my pipe cleaners off until the very end. This is what our ribbons are looking like. I think that's so pretty. It's going to be so beautiful when I add all the floral and the sign and the bow, of course. Okay. I'm also using this one, the fresh green color with the floral. Fold it in half. Add this one next. And I'm just rotating the 3 sets of ribbon around the wreath. Spread this out like that. Okay, that's what the green and floral one looks like. Alright, you guys, I'm going to continue to go around the outside perimeter of the wreath with the ribbons, and I will meet you back when I get finished with the outside of the wreath, putting the ribbon tails on. Be right back. Okay, I've completed all the ribbons on the outside of the wreath. And this is how it looks. So now I'm going to, of course, go on to the inside perimeter. Hold on a second, I'm going to get my glue gun plugged in, because when I'm complete the outside or the inside perimeter of the wreath form, then I'm going to be adding some floral after I put the sign and the bow on. Hold on just a minute. So let's get started with the ribbon sets for the middle. And what I do, one of them, they're both cut to 12 inches long. Take them, fold them in half. Scrunch them up the middle. And set it down into the pipe cleaners that I have. I'm using the same ribbons for my tails that I did in the bow. Again, fold it in half, crease it. On that crease, scrunch it together. And go to the next pipe cleaner. So, yes, this is the Mother's Day wreath I'm making for my mother. It's not a sign and ribbon kit. However, I have a lot of sign and ribbon kits in my Etsy shop, and that's linked below. Okay, on to the next one. The green. I just love this true green. I think it's so pretty. Fan them out so they look nice and pretty and full. Like that. Okay, I am going to complete the inside perimeter of the wreath with the ribbons, and when I get back we'll start on adding the bow. I've got my glue gun plugged in. We'll be adding the bow and the sign, and I'm going to put some florals in it. So I will meet you right back here. Hold on just a second. Alrighty guys, I have the ribbons on the outside and the inside of the wreath now, and I just love it. I think it is beautiful. Okay, now we're going to get the sign and the bow put on before I add the florals. Okay, now I'm going to apply my sign to the wreath. I have the cables mounts on with all of the pipe cleaners. I use this little blue sewing needle. Actually, it's a yarn needle, but I use it to put signs and my bow on my wreath so I can go straight through the mesh without going around anything and worrying about it getting smashed. So I just put it through here. I like to grab the opposite side and go through with it. Straight down through. Oh, and that one didn't go through, so I'm going to redo it. Now what I do is I just try to Now what I do is just pull it through and tie it to the wreath frame. And now to make sure my placement is correct, I put it on there. And I'm not really tightening it up all the way yet. I just want to make sure my placement is right before I do that. So I've got to add the bow, and I just want to make sure that looks okay. And here's the other one. You know, you want it somewhat tight, but not smashing the whole wreath down. Okay. That seems to be pretty good. Sometimes I turn it over, but when I do that, it smashes my ribbon tails. And when it's not necessary, I just don't do it. Okay. I don't like my sign up super high. I still have not cut off my pipe cleaners because I wait to the end to do that. And we get this fastened down, the bow, and then we'll get the bow on here, and then I will get the flowers that I plan on putting on my Mother's Day wreath for her door. Okay, pull my loops up, make them look pretty. And I can move on to cutting my tails. Now to dovetail the ends, I take the ribbon, fold it so both wires come together. This is the wired edge. Cut from the folded edge down towards the wired edge, and you get a dovetail. So I'm going to do that to all of the ribbons. If you cut on the creased side of your ribbon towards the wire, it's much easier than trying to cut on the wire side up. It's just your scissors work better if you start on the folded side. Mine do anyway. That's how it works for me. Maybe not everyone. These are going to get a little bit shorter. I don't like them super long. Okay. This one. They don't all have to be the exact same length. Just like you, I mean, it's kind of like hair. I don't like for my hair to have a blunt cut straight across the bottom. And I don't like for my ribbons to look that way either. Okay, you guys, good thing I'm recording right now and I'm not live. I did cut the end of my finger as well while I was trying to do my bow tails. Really have to be careful. Now I'm going to grab some florals and we're going to add some florals to it. So I'll be right back. Okay, you guys, it is the next day. I ended up cutting my finger pretty bad on the end. I didn't know I could do so much damage to myself making a wreath, but I think I'm going to be okay. So I've cut a few flowers here. I have yellow roses and these pink roses. Let's see if I can get it in the camera. And I also have these really light pink roses that have the vines on them. And I'm going to keep the vines on there because it matches the vines that are in my ribbon. So I'm going to glue these in, find a place to put them. And then we'll see the finished wreath. Let me see. I don't want to cover the sign totally. Put this one right here. I'll set them where I think I'm going to put them and then I'll glue them in. We need a yellow rose. I don't use the leaves on all of my flowers, just because some of them just absolutely don't match. They're super green, like that right there. These, I usually do not like the plastic vines or any type of leaves, but for this particular wreath, I'm going to use it because it matches the vines on the ribbon. Okay, I need 3 of these. I like to do things in 3s. No, not there. Okay, I like that. This one right here. Cut this off a bit. Get it in the camera so you guys can see. I love the yellow roses. I just think they're beautiful. No, I don't like it in the bow. It kind of weighs the bow down to put it in there. I'll put that underneath there, sticking out. Let me add some of these because these are very pretty. We want it all the way around the wreath. Yeah, when I was dovetailing the ends of my ribbon, I ended up cutting my finger. I'm not so sure I like these. They do match the pink ribbon. Yeah, I think I will use them. Kind of, you know, it kind of pops in there and brings out the color of the pink in the bow. Since this is a Mother's Day wreath, I am going to add a lot of flowers. This just kind of makes it all come together. And I like placing my flowers before I glue them so I can see what they're going to look like. I love yellow roses. Yellow roses have always been my favorite. Okay, I'm going to glue in what we have so far, and then we'll go from here and see if there's anything else I may need. See if I want to add any more. We'll start right here. You'll start with this rose right here, the yellow one. Now, I should have actually plugged my glue pot in for this, but I didn't, so we're going to just roll with what I have going on. That'll sit right in there, pretty. Okay, this one I want right in here. With the vine hanging down. Matches the vines on the, it's just a little sprig of it, but it really does bring attention to the ribbon. I'm not absolutely positive where I got my flowers. I think I got them from Walmart. I know I got the yellow roses from Sim's Pottery. Just gonna go around and try the best I can to glue them in where I had them. Yeah, I don't want to push them all the way down in there because I want to see them peeking out easily. Okay, spin it around. Put this one down in here. These are just beautiful. And I'm just going to move my wreath around and glue them as I go. And of course I'll do one final fluff of everything before I get it on the door. I think it turned out beautiful. I hope you guys like it. Oh, I need one over here. So let me see. I've also already cut off my pipe cleaners. It's just hard to work with the tip of my finger cut. But I made it through the video, guys. I'm so glad I didn't try to do this one live. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. Let me see if I have another rose for right down here. And let me see if I am even going to need it. Let me hold this up for a minute. Okay, you guys, I think I'm going to stop with it the way it is right here. And I'm going to get a picture of it on the door. I'm going to get a picture of it on the door. If you guys are interested in this kind of content, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you'll be notified every time I go live or upload a new video. Please feel free to watch my other videos on my channel. I have plenty. Also, I have my Etsy store linked below with my sign and ribbon kits. So thank you all for joining me, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.